All right. Thank you very much. Thank you all for coming. And today, it's another day for us to, meet and, wrap up and say bye-bye to this course. So today, our session is going to be our final session. We started a course of 5 weeks, and today, unfortunately, marks the end of the course. I'm looking forward to arranging or planning other sessions with Mr. Kaiser, with you as we delve into other equally important related issues of any interest, from political science to peace studies to everything um, necessary. I would congratulate everyone for coming this far with me, for being patient and listening to everything we've been talking about in the past few weeks. And today, marking the end of our session, we're going to discuss a very important topic, which happens to be the last one. And on today's session, sorry. Yes, so in today's session, we're going to discuss governance, accountability, and contemporary politics. Governance, accountability, and contemporary politics. All right, so without further ado, without wasting much time, let's see if anyone remembers anything we did in the past and they can share with me. I'll be very happy. Yes, Mr. Momin Al Yassin, thanks for raising your hand. You have been one of my, most serious students who has always been answering questions. So, Mr. Momin Al Yassin, your floor is yours.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
How are you, Professor?
I'm perfectly well.
Uh,
Thank you very much. And yourself? I hope you're good.
yes, so thank you very much. Actually, from the last session, we learned a variety of things about politics. That's from my insight, we learned political institution and political process,
Yeah,
electoral system and rules of the game,
very good.
propositional presentation. Political parties work as a vehicle of mobilization, and
Very
the
good.
core functions of political parties, evolution of political parties, how our political parties are related, and legislative relations, how our executive and legislative are relation to both together, and two-party system and multi-party system. Because in government, there are many parties form government. Two parties, more than two parties from the government, and finally, political process and citizen participation. Their political socialization, uh, we learned here, conventional participation and conventional participation. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mumin Ali Yassin. That's a very beautiful one. Thank you, Mohammed Salim. Do you want to say something? Your hand is up.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh, my friend. I'm all ears.
Uh, Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
I'm very happy to have you. At the last session, I was a little confused with the electoral system.
Yes. What is confusing about it?
If
If you can
possible,
elaborate a bit. Yeah.
we have discussed the first past the post the system which
Yes.
is used for election.
Mm-hmm.
I was confused with that.
Confused about what? Can you say it again, please?
The electoral system
Yeah.
first past the post. I was confused with the processing of it.
You mentioned something like blah blah approach. I didn't hear the word there. What exactly did you say?
That is, there were different type of electoral system in the world.
Yes.
In many government, somewhere some kind, and others country others type of electoral system. But
Okay.
the system we talk
I mean
is
the
I
parliamentary
don't know
system and the
about
rest,
artist.
right? Yes. So please, in political science or in politics, we have some words that we use. The first one is election. Election is the selection or the process of selecting a person or group of people to lead a special cause. It can be in anything. It can be in governance. It can be in anything. It can be in an institution or anything. Then the people who are going to vote, we call them the electorate. The electorate, they are the people who are going to vote. Then we have the elect. Good. Now, and we have the area that is designated for a special election or designated for an election. We call it the electoral area. Now, what we call the electoral system, these are the system we use in, oh, Mr. Salim, Shafiullah, can you, someone should mute him. Now, I think I've successfully muted him. Yes, Nur Rahim, do you want to say something?
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam.
Yes. I want to interrupt a little on the topic of Mr. Muhammad Salim.
Okay.
I think he was asking about the Mediterranean and polarity system, about the electric system.
Ah,
There's
the
a
elect.
system.
Mhm.
That's the main point
Mhm.
we want to know is the fast, pass, and the pause. He want to know more clearly about that. Mandatory system.
Okay, very well.
And
Thank you very much. Okay, so I'm just breaking it down to the list, what's the name? Explanation so that everyone will get it clearly.
yes, sir.
When we're choosing leaders, we have a special process we follow. For example, let's start from the grassroots system. The grassroots system is a country where everyone who is 17 or sometimes 18 years old is given the chance to vote. Do you understand it? That is the traditional one. Everyone gets to vote. Of course, it's traditional because that's what everyone does in the whole world today. Of course, some countries have some exceptions. And those exceptions are people who go through the parliamentarian system. That is to say, you vote for your parliamentarians and they go to the parliament and they decide who to lead your country, like the president. Do you understand? I don't know if anyone of you follow the Turkish politics. Do you follow Turkish politics? Who
No,
follows
sir. We
Turkish
didn't
politics?
know about. We didn't
Yes,
know much about Turkey.
very good. So, few days ago, one of the municipal um, leaders was arrested, and quickly an election had to be held. And this election was done by a few selected people. A few selected people. Not everyone voted. And this is also an electoral kind of system. Not everyone votes. So, for example, let me give you an example in a typical school. You go to, let's say, Ahmed High School. And in Ahmed High School, you have 25 classes, 25 classes. But you have like 600 students in total in the school. In the delegate system, which is sometimes the In the delegate system, oh, Mr. Noor, I can't mute. Very good. So, in the delegate system, every class of the 25 classes would select one person or maybe two people. And these two people will come together and select one person, and this person becomes the leader of everyone in the school. Do you get it?
Yes, sir.
Very good. So you select someone, and that person decides who your leader is. Of course, this is not a kind of an imposition. You're not imposing a leader on someone, but before you select the person, you should know that that person is going to be given the power to select who leads you in a whole. So if you don't trust the person, you don't choose them. But one problem about this democratic election is that maybe you guys selected a person to represent you. He goes out there, he takes some bribe, he talk with some kind of people, corrupt people. They promise him goodies, like, I'm going to give you a car, we're going to give you this. Then that person select a leader who is not going to fight for you. He's going to fight against you. So that is the problem with the delegate system. So I've broken the whole process. But then we also have a system where the prime minister kind of system. You know, we have a ceremonial president, and we have the prime ministerial office too. So that is exactly, in a nutshell, in a summary, that is all we have. We have what we call everyone votes, and the top-down approach is when you vote for those people, they go up there, they become your leaders, and they give you instructions from up there. Of course, you're going to see it in today's lesson. They go up there, they decide for you and everything. They are not going to ask your opinion or anything. Then we have the unilateral system where a decision will be made, um, and some kind of politics will go into the decision making, and you will receive. Of course, it's kind of dictatorial. But then, what is very important for you to know is that not all electoral systems are the same. We have a system where everyone votes. We have system where a few people vote. We have system where no one votes. No one elect them. It's just a kind of an elite. An elite are the high rank people. If you read what's the name, the Communist Manifesto, it tells you that we have a group of societies in the community. We have the bourgeoisies, that are the elites, the high rank people, and we have the proletariat, and the proletariats are you and I. We are the downtrodden. We are those who don't have any, important portfolio in the society. So we just have to follow the lead of the bourgeoisies, like they tell us what to do. Do you understand it? So please, without much ado, let's go into the first lesson, because today's lesson, because time is far gone. Okay, so today's objective is we're going to define a shift from traditional government to modern governance. Modern governance, like in the past, the traditional one is what everyone knows to be the case. And now the world is changing. We have AI. We have the NGOs, non-governmental institutions or agencies or organizations. They are going to shape, or they are shaping what governance is today. So we're going to look at them too. And then we're going to examine the horizontal, vertical, and diagonal mechanisms of political accountability. And then we're going to analyze the impact of globalization on state sovereignty. What is sovereignty? These are important words. The state, sovereignty, power, governance, and these are words that you should know. Everyone in this course should know. Sovereignty, state, power. and legitimacy. These are four important words that everyone should know. Sovereignty. So who can tell me what sovereignty is? So for example, if I say Bangladesh or India is a sovereign state, what do I mean? Yes. Can anyone help us? Yes, Mr. Mohammed Shah. It's been a while since you said something. Mohammed Shah, sorry. Yes, my friend.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Mohammed Shah, you can speak. Yes, please. Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum, my dear.
Wa alaikum salam, my friend.
Hope you're doing well. Alhamdulillah, I'm pretty good.
I'm
Yeah,
perfectly well.
if
Thank
I
you
say
very much, my
something,
friend.
as I learned from your session, from your previous session about
Yes.
sovereignty,
Yes.
sovereignty is the supreme and independent authority of a state
Very good.
to
The
govern
supreme
itself,
to
make
govern
its own
itself.
laws, and
Yeah.
control its territory without external interference.
Very good. That kind of authority you have to govern your own territory without anyone's laws, like with your own imposed or self-imposed laws, like mean the laws of the state. And I give you example. For example, Iraq or let's say Ghana cannot decide how United States govern its people or govern its, land. It's not on us to decide what to do with their power. And that is what we call sovereignty. Thank you very much, Mr. Mohammed Shah. Now, the last one is contemporary challenges, populism, polarization, and institutional decay. So we're going to talk about that. You see, what is populism? We have different stages. We have three important skills in populism, and I'm going to talk about all those things. So let's start with government and governance. So here, the evolution of the state power. So the first one is government, and it says the top-down hierarchical exercise of authority by formal state institutions, executive, legislature, and judiciary. That is the traditional government. The top-down. The top-down means the people up there, the ministers, the member of parliament, and all those big, big shots up there. And the down one is us. So the authority from up to down is what we call the traditional government system, where you select a few people and they decide what happens in the state. Because you've given them the mandate, you gave them the power. I didn't. You and I, or let's say you guys gave them. So I've always said, in any case, vote. In any case, vote. Don't forget this. Because if you don't take part in deciding who leads you, like I said in the past, foolish people will organize themselves and decide to choose a foolish person to lead you. And when a foolish person leads you, it tells us the kind of person you are. Because when people come, we will not be able to differentiate who voted for such a foolish person. We will not be able to, decipher, will not be able to ascertain. Therefore, we'll blame you for any kind of mishap. So please take part in voting. Political participation is very, very important in political science. So that is the top-down hierarchical exercise of authority by the executive, the legislature, and judiciary. That is the traditional one. Then the modern one is broader, and it is networked approach to decision making that includes non-state actors like NGOs, multinational corporations, civil societies, and international organizations. These are entities, or they are bodies that you didn't vote for. They organize themselves, they had a certain credibility, and they use that credibility to influence governance everywhere. And this is the modern one we have. For example, the International Code of Crime is not a code of crime that we voted for. People willingly go and, sign. to be part of. That is, states go and sign, and when they sign, anytime there's any kind of criminal activity, people or leaders are invited to the court to defend themselves, and guilty ones are incarcerated. They are, put in prison, or they are put in prison. Now, we have other, Human Rights Watch societies too. They also make sure that activities of human rights and violation of human rights across the world is being mapped, activities are being mapped and followed everywhere. And they're able to, ascertain what is happening and, speak about it. And the next one here, the key concept here is that the state no longer the sole actor in solving public problems. The sole actor in solving public problem is not the state anymore. So Ghana is not, going to solve the state problem, because at the worst part of it, when they even lack cash or lack funds and they have some kind of financial difficulties, they run to the IMF, the International Monetary Fund. They go there to get some kind of cash. When they have human rights issues, other societies, the United Nations set in, and all those kind of things. So that is the difference between the modern and the traditional governance. Now, the principles of good governance and the principles of good governance. Here we're going to look at what is good governance, and we already talked about some of them in the beginning. So according to the World Bank, UN frameworks, good governance requires rule of law. The rule of law requires that fair legal frameworks enforce impartially. So we frame laws that deal with issues objectively, not subjectively. For example, the law shouldn't be different for Habibullah and different for Mohammed Shah. It shouldn't be different for Nurul Hakim and be the same, be something for, Mohammed Salim or Mumin Salim. Do you understand it? It should be fair for everyone, but it doesn't mean that we should have the same thing for everyone. For example, let me ask you this question. An elephant, a bird, a bird, what's the name? Mm, let's say a rabbit and a snake and a monkey are given the same exam to climb a tree, and who climbs faster wins a kind of an award. So just think about it. Who is going to win this contest? We already know that the monkey is going to, win it. But then we give them the same exam. In this case, framing the same law for the same people isn't fair. And this is not the rule of law. So you shouldn't have the same law for people who are normal and people who have abnormalities. So a cripple or a blind person shouldn't have the same exam in the same style, in the same, kind of methodology, with someone who is, who doesn't have any kind of abnormality or disability. Do you understand it? So we should frame in a fair way, or we should frame fairly laws to cater for everyone's need without being subjective about it. That transparency, actually, when something is transparent, for example, this is a bottle of what? Honey, and it is in what? In a bottle, right? This is honey, and it is transparent bottle, so you can see the honey inside it. You can see the honey inside it. So we say this bottle is transparent. So transparency is free flow of information accessible to the public. So we should be able to be transparent. We should be able to be clear. We should be able to be apparent in our dealings with the people. We should be able to be accessible to them. Information should be accessible to them. Then responsiveness, that is institution serving stakeholders within reasonable time frames. So we should have some kind of responsiveness that institutions serving stakeholders, like institutions that the stakeholder institutions should be able to have some kind of reasonable time frames. Then we have consensus-oriented. Consensus, we already talked about consensus, and we said consensus is when we agree on something. So consensus-oriented, that is mediating different differing interests to reach broad societal agreements. So we mediate, we be in the middle, we get ourselves in the middle to make sure that we agree on something for everyone's interest. Then effectiveness and efficiency, meeting needs while making the best use of what resources. So effectiveness and efficiency, that is meeting needs while making the best use of resources. That is effectiveness. If something is effective, it means it is impactful. And efficiency, it means it has the ability to cater for what it's supposed to cater for. It's efficient. If something is used to the brim at its capacity, then it is efficient. So meeting needs while making the best use of resources. Now, the pillars of accountability. How do we restrain power? How do we restrain power? How do we control the kind of power we give the people? Mr. Mohammed Shah is our leader. He is very powerful. He wakes up one morning, he says, Habibullah, you're no more my student. Rose Sadiq Hussain, you're no more my student. He just sacks you, and at the point he comes back and he says, yes, because I'm very powerful, come back. No cause for such, erratic use of power. We should be able to restrain power. We should have some kind of, instrument, or we should have some, some checks and balances to make sure that, power is restrained. So traditional democratic check, citizens holding leaders accountable from bottom up, primarily through election and voting. So if Mr. Habibullah becomes the leader and he misbehaves after 4 or 5 years, we go to the polls and we vote again. And if he knows that we're going to vote against him, of course, he's going to make sure that he uses his power wisely, because any abuse of power is going to cost him his presidency or his leadership. Therefore, vertical accountability is a traditional democratic check that is through elections, voting. Then the second one is horizontal accountability. That's checks and balances from within the state, that state institutions checking others. Of course, we have like the audit agencies. They have the ombudsman, and we have the parliament, and we have the court. They make sure that they check other institutions. For example, Mr. Habibullah goes to the Ministry of Education for something and is not able to get it, or Mr. Mohammed Rahim, kind of go for a certain, service, or you see some kind of corruption somewhere, he can report it to the nearest police station, and the police will take actions against them. And that is how we check the power, so that no one would do anything anyhow. And we also have the diagonal, so social accountability. That is direct engagement by citizens. And this is what many people do, the social thing. We call it the street way of handling things, where you see bad things. For example, Mr. Mohammed Shoaib goes to his Facebook account or his Instagram account, and he writes a whole lot of things. That is where he can register his anger. for something that is happening. Sometimes you only write something, and yes, Mr. Hafizur Rahman, I think that we're going to restart the link, right?
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam.
First of all, thank you for giving me
Mr. Hafizur Rahman, I think the link is going to finish very soon.
Yes, sir. So how do you think now or after this session, after after finishing the time?
Yeah. We'll restart the link. I'll enter the lesson again.
Okay, sir. Okay, I will ask in the next time after finishing the setting.